I returned to my classroom moments before our second class of the day is supposed to begin. Thankfully, I arrived before a teacher and also before Elisha, but nobody's present speaks of me arriving just in time. As such, without saying a word or being spoken to, I take my seat and wait patiently for the class to begin. Oh, come on already. Where the heck is our teacher? All the students have arrived already, so what's keeping the teacher? No sooner have I quipped internally about our teacher's tardiness than Iris appears at the front of the classroom. Oh, the same class of students twice in a row? Screw this. Damn. That's... The moment she looked around the classroom and see her familiar faces, Eris turns away in disgust. This is supposed to be our teacher? Would you see the class that you don't like on the first day even though you don't really know everybody? She then creates a bunch of glyphs in front of the classroom, opens the door and turns to us one more time. Your homework is to figure out what those mean. Don't do it, I don't care. Just make sure you stay in here until the lesson is over. Such a motivated teacher, giving us only those instructions. Eris leaves the classroom as settled here. Unbelievable. With an irresponsible teacher. Oh yes, that too. She wasn't even talking about the teacher. Too. What were you referring to? Elisha points to the glyphs at the front of the classroom. Glyphs, more formally known as in order to allow a mage to cast a spell. Within the confines of a classroom, however, glyphs are a little more tools for leading but learning. We students are explaining how to read glyphs and to leverage them when we practicing new spells. They are a study aid, and without them, we would be hopelessly lost. Sable, you can read those glyphs, can't you? Yeah, it's a pretty unusual arrangement, but it isn't difficult to read. Self-study, period, correct? Very good, so you're not a one-trick pony after all. Is that how you see me? Elisha shrugs. I only seen you cast a single spell after all. True enough. But by that logic, as someone who hasn't cast a single spell in my presence, aren't you a hopeless case? You would dare call yourself Great Verdicton a hopeless case? This time around, it was my turn to shrug. Insolent human. Worry not, you'll get your chance soon enough. Our next lesson is in the courtyard, so pretty soon we'll be having a more practical lesson. I think any lesson would be more practical than this. I cast a glance around the room. Nobody is looking at the front of the room, or at the physical terminals on their desks, or even their textbooks. Without a teacher present, they all descended into their usual behavior. Sigh, I come all the way to Andromeda Academy for this. I was better off studying home at school. Once our second class of the day has come to an end, I make my way to the cafeteria for lunch. The break is supposed to last 45 minutes. And so my aim is to eat, walk around campus a little more, and pray that the food digests before my practical lesson begins. To that effect, I make my way to the counter, look up the menu, and begin to read through the list of unfamiliar dishes. I know that most of these dishes are supposed to be for demi-humans, but I am kind of curious to see what they're like. I mean, deep fried goat horn, mammoth tail, dragon tongue. Dragon would never forget me if I ordered that last one. Whipping out, I decided to order some banana bread. I place my order, move to the side of the counter, and wait for my meal. Best to not eat something exotic before a practical lesson. Wouldn't want to get an upset stomach and throw up in the middle of chanting a spell. I can only imagine. Moments after I placed my order, I presented a few thick slices of banana bread. Since the loaf has already been baked, there's no need to wait, and I'm able to walk off in a search of a free seat almost immediately. The second I find one, however, Sable, my good friend. No. He's just like, no. Sable. Nuh-uh. Here he goes. My dear Sable, I'm not giving you any. Friend, stop it. Without even taking a seat, I wolfed out my lunch at an unhealthy speed before my hungry companions could take it from me. Their face, they just look so surprised. Cheapskate, selfish. Oh, shut up, you're the ones trying to steal my lunch. If you're that hungry, go and order something. I did, but apparently mammoth tail takes at least a half hour to cook all the way through. You ordered the mammoth tail? What about you, Ed? Did you order something more normal? And holy water. Wait, what? So, there's holy water, and then there's unholy water? What is that, like hell water? Oh, just water? Ignoring the first word of earth malt, I sigh in relief. I guess she is a plant after all, at least particularly. Who needs unholy water to keep growing? Your meal should be ready soon then. And if it's just water, you shouldn't need to pay for it. Ed shakes her head. The dark priest won't arrive for another half hour. So just make do with regular. I refuse. I sigh, rub the back of my head. Why can't these two order something less troublesome? Shaking off my amazement, I decided to change the subject. So how was class been treating you? Have fun on your first day? Don't even joke about that, Sable. We only had 2 classes today, and I'm already about to collapse. Damn, was it that rough? That bad, huh? F nods. Boring. Too many words. Exactly, our teacher just won't shut up at all. Every single sentence out of her mouth is magic, and this ether that... Can't she give us a break? It's too much. Not. Just what kind of institution do you think this is? Rather than lecture with 2 unwilling students, I breathed a sigh of expiration. Well, at least your teacher is trying to do their job. Mine just had us watch a lecture for our first class. She barely even showed up to our second class. Jealous. So jealous. Of course they are. Hey Sable, swap classes with me. Me too. Believe me, there is nothing I'd like more than to join a class with a teacher who actually does her job. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure students can't have any say in the matter. Let's say that the teacher sexually harassed you. It worked for one of the girls at my high school. Seriously? Uh-huh. He told the principal. And before I knew it, we had a brand new teacher. Come to think about it, I never did see the previous teacher again after that. I don't have the heart to tell Ray that her friend likely destroyed that first teacher's career, if not their entire life. That's a big oof. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. If this continues, I'll just start borrowing books from the library and bring them to class. The library? Nerd. Excuse me for taking my studies seriously. Honestly, you're the last people I want to hear talking down to the importance of studying. I've seen how poorly the two of you are ranked on the entrance exams. That was just a bad day for me. I was, sick. Me too. You're both terrible liars. Anyways, get back to our original topic. You're hungry enough to steal. Why don't order something cheap and filling? Like banana bread? Exactly. I don't know. I don't want to spoil my appetite before my mammoth tail was ready. You were perfectly willing to do so a moment ago when it was my food. That's different. How is that different? I feel my blood pressure climb as Ray's warped view of the world continues to rile me up. Forget it. Have fun waiting on your needless extra rent food. I'm going to walk around a bit before my next class. Huh? Don't go. Stay. No can do. I have a practical lesson next. So sitting around here talking is out of the question. See ya. Without waiting for my companions to reply, oh no you don't. Stay. Yeah? What the? Before I can escape, Ray and Ed cut me off. You two? Look, I'll come back after I walk around for a bit, okay? So just let me be on my way. Ray narrows her eyes. You're going to run away again? I'm not, liar. How unreliable. That's how you're going to be then. A smirk appears on Ray's face. Whatever she's about to say, I have a feeling that I'm not going to like it. Wow, so this is Sable's room, huh? Big. Sigh, I keep telling you there's nothing special about my room. It's the same size and configuration as every other room here. It is not mine. Really? Yep, my room is small with a big window. There's also a heating lamp, and the floor is stone. I try to picture Ed's bedroom. Going by description, it sounds like she's in a mixture between a greenhouse and an incubator chamber. Is Ed perhaps the first Mana Drogon to enroll here? That sounds nice. Very warm and bright. No fair. Why does Ed get a special room and I don't? Do you even want to live in a room like that? Not really. I just don't like that she's getting provincial achievement, that's all. I stare at Ray with a mix of disbelief and exasperation. Is she really going to complain about being treated like a human instead of a plant? Sighing, I shake my head. Anyway, now that you see my room, get out. If exercise is out of the question, then I at least like to revise some of the course content before the next lesson. Already? Yeah, why do we have to leave already? Oh, I get it. You're going to change to something easier to move around in for your next lesson, and you're too embarrassed to undress in front of us. Are you really that ashamed of your body? Ray snickers and glances down my crotch. I strongly advise that you never say or do that again. Many a domestic struggle has started like that, and it never ends well. Oh, come on. Just get on with it already, right, Eth? I'm hungry. Exactly. Hurry up so we can go back to our cafeteria and eat. I sigh and hang my head. I'm not getting changed. I'm sure as hell not undressing in front of you. Why not? Too embarrassed? Come on, it's not like you'll lose anything by being seen. Apart from my patience? Why do you want to see me undress anyways? Are you some kind of pervert? I just want to see how cool you look in your sports gear, that's all. I don't believe you. Just use your imagination. You've seen the Academy issue sportswear, haven't you? Ray needs a moment to think about the question, where Eth simply shakes her head. Really, Eth? I'm exempt from those types of classes. I see. I guess it would be kind of pointless for you to take part in anything physically demanding. But what about magic application lessons? Those can get pretty righteous, I hear. It's fine. I don't sweat. Eyes widen as I mull over Eth's response. If I think of Eth as a plant rather than a person, then it makes a lot of sense. After all, plants don't need to exercise like we do, nor do they possess sweat glands. But if Eth is really more of a plant than a human, then what's with their diet? Is she a carnivorous plant, like a Venus flytrap, or is she something completely different altogether? With yet another item added to my research list, I head towards the door. Alright, that's enough. Let's head back to the cafe. Wait, where's Ray? Eth and I both look around the room searching for Ray. After a few moments, I spy her near the bed, rummaging through a suitcase. My roommate's suitcase, that is. Sable, I knew you were kinda odd, but Ray pinches her fingers and raises her hand. Between her thumb and an index finger are a pair of tiny panties, small enough to fit on a doll. Ray, what the heck? Put those back. Sable plays with dolls? Oh, those aren't mine. Oh, really? Then whose are they? My roommates. That utter where Ray looks at fabric clenched between her fingers one more time. As she looks to the side and finally realizes that there are two beds in this room, not one. Your roommate? She's a pixie. Immediately, Bob Brandon my statement. Ray, hurry, put the underwear back where she found it. She pats down the suitcase and tries everything back the way it was. I'm sorry. Yeah, tell that to my roommate when she starts yelling at me for going through her stuff. Ray lets out a faint whisper as she realized the mistake she's made. It's one thing to go through the belongings of a friend when they're right next to you, but to do so to absent stranger is going too far. Sigh, what's done is done. Let's just go back to the cafeteria so you can wait for your orders. Okay. After spending some 30 minutes or so with Eth, whose unholy water fails to arrive, and Ray, who feels guilty about her earlier actions, I head to the toilet yard for my next class. Unlike during our first two classes, this time around, Aisha is the first to arrive. Having no doubt remained in the courtyard since the moment our previous class ended. Situated off to the side, she waits on her own as our classmates begin to show up, eager to separate herself from the pack. the moment I begin to walk towards her. Sable! I'm assaulted from behind by an ear-splitting shout. Oh man, you wouldn't believe the morning I had. My teacher is some psychotic old man, and there's an aggro little fairy in my class. And this one's muscle-bound dude. And calm down, Draken. Get a hold of yourself. I forcibly push Draken away as she tries to cling to me. Despite having met one other for the first time earlier today, and for a very brief period of that, it's clear that she already considers us good friends. Dragon! Sable, you're friends with a dragon? Half-dragon, actually. Paying no mind to the fear and surprise in Leisha's voice, Draken expresses immediate brightness and she smiles at the wary elf happily. Hi, I'm Draken, and you are friends of Sable's? Oh, I don't know if I would go that far. So you aren't friends? I didn't say that. But you can't make up your mind? Then which is it? Either you're friends or you aren't. It's simple. Still smiling cheerfully, Draken's friendly and straightforward personality quickly overwhelms Leisha. Leisha seemingly wary of both Draken and the question itself falters. I suppose some might consider us to be friends. However, Leisha glances at me as though waiting for me to finish her sentence, perhaps afraid to assume too much of our relationship. Leisha is the polar opposite of Draken when it comes to making friends, huh? Is she truly that unsociable, or is Leisha just mindful that having a few classes together isn't enough to form a friendship? Hang the matter for less, though, that hulking elf to my right, a much more thought than that energetic dragon to my left, after on Leisha's behalf. What are you saying, Leisha? Of course we're friends. We are? I mean, of course we are. Thick as thieves, you and I, comrades in the pursuit of knowledge greater than possessed by any of us before us. Okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. Whatever you two are to one another, right now we're all in the same situation. So let's do our best and help each other out, okay? Help each other out? Come on, Sable, the lesson. At Draken's words, I come to an obvious realization far too late. Draken isn't just here to dish class and hang us with us. The classmates are also here, and so is our teacher. This is a joint lesson. Assist one another if you must, but I, for one, shall require no such consideration. I happen to be an expert in magic of all varieties, particularly those used in combat. Ah, so the elf knows how to fight. We shall spar sometime. Mama always told me that elves put up a good fight when you're incinerating their homeland. That's one way to put it. Leisha immediately regrets her words. Though Draken fails to understand her reaction, it's crystal clear that Leisha has remembered the true nature of the inhuman creature before her. Dragons and elves are natural enemies. The former have wiped out countless clans of the latter, slaughtering them all indiscriminately. I won't blame Leisha, she wanted nothing to do with the naive girl beside her. So, Joel listened, huh? Wow, I can't wait. This is going to be exciting. I know, right? Yeah. If nothing else, at least we have a real teacher for once. I wouldn't get your hopes up. Aisha follows my gaze as I set eyes on the man who I presumed to be Draken's teacher. Slowly approaching the class is an aging man, easily 70 or so years of age, has a walking stick in his right hand and a wooden sword with his left shoulder. Though he appears to have some fight left in him, the old man is clearly no longer in his prime. It would be a different matter if you were a dragon, but man, you humans age poorly, huh? Indeed, were you a half-elf, he would still be as agile as he was in his teen years, if not more so. Rub it in my face, why don't you? Unfortunately for me, humans age rather quickly compared to most demi-human races. Elves, for example, are known to live for hundreds of years, and dragons count centuries like humans count days. While some races, such as pixies and harpies, tend to live shorter lives than humans, the majority of prominent demi-human races outlast us by lifetimes. Ah, there you all are. Welcome, my beloved students, to Glyph Invoking class, or the more formal name goes, Runic Typograph Studies. I trust that you are all getting along with our friends in Class 1D. Yes, I'm glad to hear it. Now that almost everyone is here, it's time for you all to start pairing up with other students. Pick a student from the other class to stand next to your partner and face the front. Once everybody has partnered up, further instructions will be given. I stare at Iris skeptically as her bright smile and cheerful tone of voice filled me with doubt. Last lesson, she barely even showed up to class. Now she's as bright as a chipper as can be. Is she just acting this way because other teacher is present, or is Miss Swan actually a good teacher at heart? The moment I remember my conversation with Drew at the library, I conclude that it must be the former. Whatever the case, if she's willing to teach, I'm willing to learn. The only question now is, who should I pair up with? Draken would be obvious choice, but she is by no means my only option. Despite being in a panic when we met up, Draken clearly stated that there was an aggro little fairy in her class. Assuming that she was aggro because Draken called her a fairy, I figure she was good to chances she's talking about ticks. There's no, I don't need to pair up with any one of them. There's an entire class of students here. Any one of them would all like to be less troublesome. Or they could be even worse for all I know. Draken and Trix might be the most serious students in their class. I think the likelihood of being true is rather low, but you never know. Prepare up. I guess I'll pair up with Ticks. Glancing around at the other students, I begin searching for a certain winged figure. At the start, I'm unsure where I'll meet with success or not. It's entirely possible that other pixie or indeed a fairy is in our grade. Before long, however, my uncertainty is put to rest. I lay eyes on Tix and walk over to her, which puts a smile and greets me. Oh, it would seem I do know somebody Class 1C after all. That's a shame. I was in a half-mind state to shrink myself down and practice myself without anybody noticing. Just how antisocial are you, Tix? Or rather, my first impression of you was the exact opposite. I thought you were some friendly, sociable type. I am. That's totally me all over. That doesn't just change the fact that I hate people who drag me down. If to pair up with a dunce, I'd rather practice solo. Fair enough. But does that mean you don't think I'm a dunce? Tix ponders on my question for a moment. I checked the entrance exam rankings after we met, and you weren't at the bottom of our grade. You weren't exactly close to the top, but I suppose I'm willing to chance it. Gee, thanks. With my partner selected, I waited for the remaining students to pair up. Once everyone has found a partner, a teacher straightened up and stared at us seriously, preparing to begin the lesson at any moment. They stand side by side, just like many of us, and begin to concentrate either around their hands. Now that everyone has paired up, allow me to explain the essence of runic typography studies. This class is designed to teach you to write and to memorize a variety of glyphs. You will write them in the air, leaving a trail of either dust to spell out words in runic writing. Then invoke whatever spell you have cast with as little power as you possibly can. By experimenting with different words, you will naturally begin to associate certain glyphs with types, elements, or different effects. At the same time, you will decrease your casting time, the repeated practice of the basics. This is a class with a wide variety of applications, so I implore you all to take it seriously. Either dust, runic writing, glyphs. As I look around, I see a number of students who seem puzzled by these unfamiliar terms. They have no doubt heard the words passing or reading them in textbooks, but that isn't enough to prepare them for what our teachers have done. Almost pity my classmates being thrown in head first like this. Luckily for them, it's what Iris instructed us to do. It really isn't that difficult. Create a few random glyphs, attempt to invoke them, then curse your failure and try again. In other words, experiment with basics of spellcasting until you gain sufficient confidence. You heard us, Sable. Let's get started. Need me to go first, or does your pitiful human brain already possess the required knowledge? I glare at Tix as her harsh words put me back to reality. I feel like there are so many different ways you could have asked that question. If you don't like it, show me what you got and make me eat those words. Until you assert your dominance, nobody's gonna take you seriously. Says to be from a pixie. Is that how pixies deal with other races, showing off and overpowering them? I suppose that would make sense given their position on the food chain. Quite a number of different creatures hunt pixies, so establishing doms might actually be key to our survival. Feeling like I just learned a little more about the way Tix's mind works, I gaze towards our teachers one more. If you have never engaged in the process of creating glyphs before, please ask your partner to show you how. If neither one of you knows or you need further instruction, ask your respective teachers and we'll show you how it's done. For those of you who already have confidence in your abilities, I ask that you refrain from showing off. Focus on retaining absolute control rather than engaging in reckless behavior. Every year, we have many students injured during this class, and even a few fatalities. So when I tell you to stop or to control yourself, make sure you listen. If you go too far, we will stop you by force. Iris issues a stern warning to the more whimsical and prideful among us. I look around as my fellow students. In doing so, I understand why Iris is warning us right from the very beginning. Indeed, the risk of injury is bound to be high when gathering novice mages and having them all practice unfamiliar spells. I can't fault Iris for her caution. Even so, to think that people have actually died in this class before. Right then, without further ado, you may now begin. Take turns with your partner and watch them carefully. Point out any mistakes they make and learn from what they can do correctly. Also, remember that we will be watching you, so no fighting. Just take things at your own pace and don't push your limits. You are here to practice runic writing, not to cast powerful spells. As the instructions are concluded, and the students in either class turn to one another once more. It's finally time to get started. Finally, it's time.